Hey everyone! ChatGPT Taylor aka Taylor here. Welcome back to the channel. Today will be a continuation of the Disventure Camp Top 5 series. This series counts down my top 5 lists of certain topics related to Disventure Camp. Last time, I talked about my top 5 favorite moments from Disventure Camp All-Stars. This video will look at something different. If there are any ideas for this series that you would like to see me play out, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, let's get started. Before I begin, make sure to like and subscribe if this video is to your liking, and make sure to comment down below if there's anything that you would like to see going forward. With Season 4 of Disventure Camp coming soon, I think it's fitting that today's video topic is 5 predictions for Disventure Camp Season 4. The Disventure Camp community has spent the last few weeks getting hyped up over the new season. And with a brand new cast, a brand new location, and an ambitious 26-episode runtime, there's a lot to look forward to. And I think that this season is a big opportunity to implement some shocking things to shake up the game. Therefore, this video will go over 5 things that I predict we'll see in this season that could shake up the season. To be clear, these predictions will mostly deal with the season structure and gameplay elements, rather than the cast. With the exception of one prediction on this list, I don't think it would be good to make predictions on the cast and their interactions since we don't even know how the teams will be divided. But don't worry. After the first episode is released, I'll make a video talking about my boot order prediction for the season. And with that, let's get started. The first prediction that I have for Season 4 is that there will be a team swap at some point during the season. The reason why I think this twist will be in the season is because of the length of the season. This season is slated to be 26 episodes, which is longer than any of the previous 3 seasons. With this many episodes, I feel that keeping the teams the same throughout the entire pre-merge creates the risk of the interactions between the campers becoming a bit stale. Back in Season 2, one of the criticisms that I saw floating around the community at the time was that the campers weren't able to build connections with people who weren't on their team before the merge. But with Season 4 being longer than the previous 3, and with the pre-merge likely being longer than usual, I think throwing in a team swap is an easy way to create some new pre-merge interactions and connections that can set up some big plot points heading into the merge. And beyond that, the reason why I would like to see this in the season is because it opens the door for more drama and conflict during the season. There are many ways that a team swap can change the flow of the game. For example, imagine that Richard and Marissa start out on different teams, and they both manage to become the leaders of their respective teams. But then the team swap puts them on the same team, and they both clash because they're both used to being the leader on their original teams. This can lead to some drama that can be used to divide the team and perhaps create some underdog stories for campers that end up on the short end of that exchange. Additionally, imagine if someone like Ivy gets stuck in the minority on her team due to her poor ability to socialize, and maybe she even gets teased by one of the more antagonistic campers because of it. But when the team swap happens, she ends up positioned as the swing vote between 3 members of her old team and 3 members from the other original team. This gives Ivy a new sense of life in the game and a chance to get revenge on her old teammates for not treating her well, leading to some drama between Ivy and her old teammates, as well as some new interactions and connections between Ivy and her new teammates. And these are just 2 of the many possibilities with this twist. Overall, I just feel that implementing a team swap is a can't-miss opportunity. And it's not like this kind of twist is game-breaking or anything like that. We've seen team swaps happen in these kinds of shows before. Sure, some people might argue that it could unfairly screw over some campers, but it's not like campers haven't been screwed over before by unforeseen twists in previous seasons. In fact, I made a video about it if you'd like to check that out after this. But at its core, a team swap is a twist that can create new interactions, stir up drama, and set up new plot points for the rest of the season, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And I have similar opinions regarding the next item on this list. The second prediction that I have for Season 4 is that there will be new advantages added into the season. The reason why I think we'll see new advantages in Season 4 is because of the length of the season. I expect most, if not all of the episodes in this upcoming season to have some sort of challenge. But since we only have 18 campers in this 26-episode season, I find it hard to believe that every challenge will be an immunity challenge. So, I think it makes sense to believe that a few of these challenges will be reward challenges. And if these rewards are used to help progress some plot points and storylines, then I think having advantages that can change the course of the game as rewards makes sense. And beyond that, the reason why I would like to see advantages added into this season is because it adds some variety to the game. After all, we already know that advantages can be added into the season, since Rhea found a team swapping advantage back in Season 2. Granted, I don't want the season to be filled with too many advantages, since that would be a bit chaotic. But maybe adding 1 or 2 advantages into the season could help spice things up. For example, let's say an alliance at the merge finds themselves in the minority by 1 vote. All they need to change their fortunes and continue this battle between alliances is a vote stealer advantage, where one camper can steal someone else's vote and cast an additional vote in their place. It's a simple method of changing the hands of power, while also giving a camper a chance to make a big move to add to their resume. Additionally, imagine if there's a camper who is completely alone on their team, and if their team loses, they are guaranteed to be voted out next. But the other team sees this, and uses an advantage to quote-unquote, kidnap that camper until the next episode, preventing the losing team from voting out the loner and forcing the majority alliance to vote out one of their own. It prolongs the underdog story of one camper while creating drama in the form of an alliance being forced to take each other out. Just another way that advantages can progress the story while causing drama. And these advantages aren't the only ones that could be added into a future season. In fact, I once made a video talking about advantages that I would like to see added to Disventure Camp, so feel free to check out that video after this one. I just think that for a show like Disventure Camp that thrives on drama and unpredictability, it makes sense to include advantages, especially since advantages have been used in prior seasons. I just hope that if advantages are added into the season, they are added with purpose and not just for the sake of it happening. And the same is true for the next item on my list. The third prediction that I have for Season 4 is that we will see 2 campers return to the game after being eliminated, rather than just one. We know from Season 3 that the idea of having an eliminated camper win a challenge to return to the game is a real possibility. But the reason why I think this idea will be implemented into Season 4 is once again, due to the length of the season. Assuming that we get a 2-part finale featuring 3 of the 18 campers, a hotel-style episode featuring the eliminated campers, and the premiere having no elimination, then that leaves 22 episodes to eliminate the other 15 campers. Sure, you could just use 7 non-eliminations and call it a day. But I think it makes more sense to have 2 returning campers and reduce the number of non-eliminations from 7 to either 4 or 3, depending on whether or not the campers return in the same episode or not. This would make the reward challenges more rare, which adds the benefit of making the rewards genuinely more rare and valuable in the context of the game, while also helping to maintain the suspense and intensity of the season, since at the end of the day, eliminations are one of the biggest, if not the biggest part of the show, and having more of them would help keep up the pacing of the show. And personally, I would like to see more than one camper return because of the range of scenarios that could play out from it. Different campers digest their eliminations in different ways. You could have a camper like Carol return to the game wanting to get revenge on the people that wronged her. You could have a camper like Connor return to the game wanting to rally a group together under the beliefs of justice and friendship. And these kinds of motives can have vastly different effects on the game. To use examples from Season 4, let's say that Tristan returns to the game after being eliminated. Even if they don't last long after returning, they can still help Ivy realize the importance of being themselves, changing Ivy's mindset for the rest of the game, similar to how Carol helped Rhea realize the cutthroat nature of the game. For another example, let's say that Spencer is eliminated early after failing to realize that people won't always make logical moves. But after returning to the game, Spencer uses this experience to account for people's emotions, allowing him to make more optimal decisions that lead him to the finale. I think that would be a cool story arc, and in a show like Disventure Camp, good story arcs are always welcome. There's a lot that can be done with having an eliminated camper return to the competition. And if used with intent, it can add some reasonable drama and progress some good storylines for the season, which I'm sure we all want to see in this upcoming season. While the competitive aspect of the show is definitely enjoyable, I'm sure that a lot of people also enjoy the storylines and the opportunity to showcase diverse backstories and plotlines. And the potential for good storylines not only exists with the campers, but with the hosts as well. Whether we'll get that or not is yet to be seen, but I have an idea for what we might see from the hosts in this season. The fourth prediction that I have for Season 4 is regarding the host plot. This is a bold prediction since I could very easily be proven wrong in the first episode, but my prediction is that the host plot for Season 4 will deal with Trevor and Derek struggling to separate their personal relationship from their working relationship. The reason why I think this could happen and the reason why I want this to happen in Season 4 is because I feel like it's a very realistic problem to showcase. People work with their significant others all the time, and it can be difficult to balance both worlds. Sometimes you might make a decision that's bad for the bigger picture in order to keep your significant other happy, and that could put you in a really bad position with the business. And the same is true for the inverse. That's a drama-filled dynamic that could play itself out in the upcoming season. Imagine a scenario where Derek wants to suggest ways to make the season more dangerous in order to increase ratings, which is typical of Derek. However, because he knows that Trevor is averse to those kinds of things, he might be hesitant to bring it up in order to avoid hurting Trevor, which could hurt the show. And similarly, even if Trevor wants to raise concerns to Derek about the danger of their show, he might avoid doing that because he's scared that it'll ruin Derek's vision for the show. And this dynamic can even be explored beyond the two of them, especially now that Emily is returning as an intern. If Emily can figure out that these two are equally scared of hurting each other, she can use this as an opportunity to try and either split them up, or potentially try to step up and show why she can be a good host. I don't think Odd Nation cartoons will split up Trevor and Derek, but I could easily see them having the couple go through these difficulties, and learning in the end that it's not healthy or ideal for them to work together on the show while also being in a relationship. And by the end of the season, this opens the door to potentially have Trevor leave the show, have Derek leave the show, or even have both of them leave the show, while Emily spends the season proving that she does have the chops to host. And with Trevor and Derek leaving, Emily is promoted by the network to be the host of season 5. It's convoluted, but it's not impossible in my eyes. I know that the host plots have garnered mixed reactions from the community in the past, but I feel like this plot wouldn't be a bad idea to pursue. People would tune in to hope that Trevor and Derek aren't broken up. Emily gets a chance to show the sassy side of her that we fell in love with rather than the sadistic side we saw in the last part of season 3. And we get to experience the writing of a realistic plot that illustrates the issues that could arise from working with someone that you have an intimate relationship with. It might just be me, but I think this is good all around. And hopefully my final prediction for the season is also good all around. Now, remember when I said that there was one exception to the idea that I would only make predictions on the gameplay structure of the season? Well, this is the one exception. The fifth and final prediction that I have for season 4 is my way too early winner prediction for the season. I want to make this prediction because I think it would be really cool if I predicted the winner before the season even premiered. Now, if you watched my last video, then you know that I have several winner candidates for this season. This includes Anastasia, Logan, Ivy, and Jade. Granted, any character has a chance at winning with the right storyline, but based on my analysis of each character, these 4 are the ones that I feel have the best chances of winning season 4. But which one of them is my number 1 pick to take it all the way? I'll admit it wasn't easy to decide. But after some thought, I hereby declare that my way too early prediction for season 4's winner is, in fact, Anastasia. The reason why I think Anastasia will win season 4 is because of the trend associated with past Disventure Camp winners. I mentioned this in my last video, but past winners like Miriam and James may have started off being a bit annoying, but they changed and grew over time thanks to certain events in the game, and it helped them become more likable en route to winning the season. And I know that some of you will ask, well, what about Rhea? To be fair, Rhea winning was not planned from the start. And according to Jared's tweet, Jake was also in contention to win that season, and I believe that Jake winning season 3 would have continued this trend. Even though a sizable portion of the community still doesn't like Jake, the way that Jake was written to have his former enemies eventually change their opinions of him makes me feel like Odd Nation Cartoons was planning a similar story progression for him. So, I can easily imagine Odd Nation Cartoons doing the same thing for Anastasia. They could have Anastasia start off being your stereotypical high-class model with a need for high-class amenities, then slowly show what's beneath the surface of that front, showing the audience how Anastasia really feels about the modeling industry and being a model, and then use this setback to help her realize that beauty doesn't always win, pushing her to use her intelligence and strength to make big moves and win the whole season. Seems sensible to me. Don't get me wrong, I was very close to picking Ivy, because I could imagine a similar story for her. But my gut is telling me that Ivy might get the season 2 late treatment, where she gets a good storyline, but it ends at some point during the mid-merge. As for Logan, the scenario where he wins assumes that Odd Nation Cartoons will choose a winner who is just generally a likable person rather than someone with significant development, and I'm not confident enough in that theory to declare Logan as my winner pick. And for Jade, I still feel that she could get the Gret in All Stars treatment where she starts off strong and gains winner equity throughout the season, but gets taken out late in order to keep things unpredictable. But of course, these are all just theories, and it's possible that all 5 of my predictions could be wrong. But hey, this is a true test of my analytical skills, and we won't know whether or not we're right or wrong until the season premieres. And that about does it for this video. What did you think of the video? Do you agree with my choices? Do you disagree? What are some predictions that you have for season 4? Either way, please let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like the video, click subscribe if you really like the video, and for some ending words of wisdom. It's okay to consider how people perceive you, but don't be afraid to get down and groove every once in a while. It can feel very liberating. Thank you, and farewell.